This video is the introduction of biotechnology. As you are watching this, please look in the description for timestamps to skip some of these sections of video, as well as links to videos covered. Biotechnology is the manipulation of living things to meet human wants and needs. As you see in this graph below, you see pharmaceutical, medical lab, and biofuels make up almost half of this entire item. There are three main applications of biotechnology. HEAL, which covers biopharmaceuticals, cloning, stem cells, gene therapy, which also involves using CRISPR. Then we go into FEED. FEED covers GMOs. And then SUSTAIN. SUSTAIN has bioremediation, which would be in the environmental category, and biofuels, making up almost 30% of that curriculum. HEAL, biopharmaceuticals, cloning, stem cells, gene therapy, involving CRISPR. Genetic engineering is the DNA manipulation of cells or organisms. Genes are added, deleted, or changed in these cells or organisms. We are able to genetically engineer insulin. The gene for human insulin can be inserted into bacteria. Bacteria are then able to produce human insulin. And if you look on this, it gives a very detailed image explanation of how this works. Biopharmaceuticals is using a living organism to produce medicines. Bacteria, yeast, or mammals can be used. This often includes a genetic engineering component. Some examples are insulin, as we just spoke about, growth hormones, and some vaccines. Stem cells. Stem cells use a manipulation of unspecialized cells for a variety of purposes. As you see in this image, cultured stem cells can be used in many different ways throughout the body. Cloning. Organisms that are genetically identical. You may have also seen this with identical twins. Cloning began in 1952 with frogs. However, Dolly was the first animal cloned from an adult cell. And there's Dolly right there. Gene therapy. Replacing defective genes with more viable genes. This is one of 3 videos in the description. Do pay attention to 2 parts of CRISPR, Cas9, guide RNA, and template DNA. On to the next big section, genetically modified organisms. Genetically modified organisms are an organism that has been changed by genetic engineering. They are also called GMOs. As you see in the picture below, we have a normal chicken that is 5.5 weeks old and 940 grams. Selectively bred and genetically modified broiler chickens, ones that you can get at a supermarket, that are 5.5 weeks old can weigh 2,900 grams. Genetically modified plants. The goal is to improve crops and our food. As you see in this chart, we're looking at pest resistance, delayed ripening, and improved sweetness for some of these traits. And as you look in the sample products, you may recognize and have had some of these items. Genetically modified animals. Used to produce beneficial proteins, drugs, and tissue for transplants. Some examples include mice, used to study medicine, cancer, and more. Zebrafish, made into glowfish, are able to actually glow in the dark. Next, sustain, with biofuels, bioremediation. Biofuels. The use of living or once living things is a reusable fuel. Some examples are ethanol, biodiesel, and algae. So can this be food or is it fuel? Why not both? Bioremediation. Using microbes and other living things to clean up the environment. An example is genetically engineered bacteria can be used to clean up an oil spill. As you see, the bacteria themselves will ingest the oil and then release it in a less harmful way back into the water. Our second video has scientists accidentally making plastic-eating bacteria. What you should note is what bacteria did scientists find, how did they change the bacteria, and what are the possible uses of this bacteria. Our third and final video covers a TED Talk on how biology heals the earth naturally. Please note, how have humans negatively impacted Earth? How is bioremediation a natural process? And how can humans help the process? Biotechnology ethics. Our society's responsibilities regarding the uses of biotechnology. For instance, should we use biotechnology to revive this ancient species of mammoth that has been extinct? And should we use stem cells in order to advance human progress? Or is this considered an unethical action? Here we have a pros and cons chart of biotechnology. You can do this on your own time and try to list 3 pros and 3 cons. If you wish, you may submit these onto a group discussion and see what other people believe. This is a completely optional activity, creating a biotechnology protest sign. Choose one application or use of biotechnology, for example, cloning. Decide if you are for or against it. Create a protest sign that clearly identifies what the application or use is, whether you think it is good or bad, why you are for or against it, and try to use a catchy slogan if possible. Create a post on Canvas showing what you made.